we live? I didn't get a message that time.
Pardon me. Creating a new live broadcast. Please wait.
There goes the message. She usually tells me what's going on. Are we in here? Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. People been writing on this chat since this morning. First off, I need to apologize for the thumbnail.
What does a lifetime warranty mean? At Harbor Freight,
now, how did that happen?
It means confidence. All our hand tools get a lifetime.
All right. Can you hear me? You are live, JP. Thank you. Rick Mentor is here. Yes, we're going to get into that. Rick, Ranger 7's in the house. Ranger 7, I watched your video on the little, you're still using that old-ass spotlight mount. That was cool to see, man. Great, loud and clear. Thanks, guys. Stuart Monroe's got a real quick thing. He said, before he gets blocked again, I never blocked you, bro. He said, are the Helios 442 58mm Cinemod lens anamorphic worth getting? What are you talking about? From the Ukrainian guys? I forget the name of them. You're talking about Iron Glass? You talking about Iron Glass? Okay, Iron Glass, I guess is... Yo, Omandra's in the house. Greetings from Indonesia. Sony execs having a good laugh. I hope they are. I hope they are, because here's the thing. Here, first of all, yeah. Did I apologize about the thumbnail yet? I apologize for the... I made that this morning when I was really ripping and roaring. I'm always like way angry in the mornings. I'm always like super angry in the mornings. And of course, that's when I see the B&H announcement of this camera. Like literally while I'm on the pooper, and I'm like, what? Are you serious? At first I was genuinely excited at first. And then I started reading this shit. Okay. Now, if you guys don't know, if you're fairly new here and you don't know, let me remind you, my 1-year review of the RX1R II is one of my top viewed channels. One of my top viewed videos on this channel. Look, Gracie, come here. See, Gracie's all riled up now. She's fucking pissed off about this camera too. Let me tell you now, it has nearly 71,000 views. 71,000 views, and none of those views are bought and paid for. Those are all real views. And nobody from Sony watched this video. Almost 71,000 people watched this video, and nobody from Sony watched this video. And I think that was what was most disturbing to me, because I sit here and I go, wow, look at the video I did on the RX100 Mark VII. Has 124,000 views. That's huge for my little baby channel. And Sony, they are not watching these videos. And that's sad, guys. Because honestly, if they watched any of my videos, specifically the video I did on the RX1R II, okay, this camera's predecessor, they would know that the biggest issue that I had with this camera is the fucking lens. The lens that they admit is the same exact lens from its predecessor. Oh, God, right here, guys. Here it is, black and white, featuring the same legendary lens from its predecessor. The same legendary lens. Same being the key word here, guys. What was look, we all know it creates a beautiful organic image, right? We know that the innards of the Zeiss sonar, it's no joke, right? The Zeiss sonar that's on these cameras, okay, we know that it is a good lens. What I'm talking about is the physical performance, the build, the tactile feeling of the lens is dog shit. And why? Because this lens was first made 14 years ago. 14 years ago. That's how old this lens actually is. So you're like, damn, everything on this camera is literally recycled. The lens is recycled. The sensor is recycled. It's the same sensor as the A7CR. Everything except this screen is recycled from something else. This sucks to me. The whole reason you buy these cameras is for the lens. This lens has the worst autofocus, the focus by wire. I'm talking about the handling of the lens now. The focus by wire of this lens is pure trash. Pure trash. One of the reasons I got rid of this camera, the Mark II version. So if you're telling me this is the same lens with the horrible 2012 focus by wire, no, I would never give you $5,100 for this camera, for a lens that has severe handling issues. Now, we don't know. You're probably already saying that, yeah, dude, they probably fixed that. But are you sure though? Are you sure? Because they had a lot of these RX1R IIs laying around. I mean, they were still up for sale on B&H last summer for $3,300. So you know they had lots of these laying around that they could have just chopped off these and put directly onto this. Especially, it is a little concerning when they literally say it's the same lens, right? So in order for me to believe anybody, because you know anybody that spends $5,100 on this camera, you know they're going to say after spending $5,100 that, no, they fixed the focus by wire, man. It's a brand new lens. It handles great. No, I wouldn't believe them. I wouldn't believe them. Because the joy of any new tool is going to fog your memory of what the reality really is, right? We've all been guilty of that. I've been guilty of that. The only way for me to believe that this lens has truly been redesigned, again, we're talking about the horrific manual focusing handling of this lens because of the horrible focus by wire mechanism that's inside of it. That's what we're talking about if you just dropped in here. And a representative from Sony would literally have to come out and say that, yes, they completely redesigned the lens. There's no more issues with the manual handling of it. It's beautiful. The focus by wire feels nice and tactile. They would have to say all of that. They would have to say all of that to convince me to even give them close to $5,100 for this lens. Because otherwise, it's a $5,100 for a 14-year-old lens. Because that's really why you buy these cameras. You buy these cameras for the lenses. That's the attraction to any fixed lens camera. The lens is what makes it so unique because it's literally attached to the sensor. And that's how they get the leaf shutter in there. That's the beauty of these cameras. But if this is the same fucking lens that they've now used on 4 cameras, because don't get it twisted. Remember, this is technically the 4th version of this camera. The RX1R III is the 4th version, right? The first one was the RX1. So 4 versions. They've been recycling and recycling this lens. That to me is terrifying. That's where all the grief comes from. Just like, you didn't fix that? And I don't think they did. I don't think they did. All right, now that I got the rant out of the way, we can all breathe now. That was my main like just blown away when I saw that. Too pricey. I like the Leica Q better. Yeah. Yeah, see, the lens is meh. I watched it just last week and was wowed by your images. Thank you, Rick Mentor. He said, and that's why I hate Sony. Leica Q, now its used price is more human. Barely. The Leica Q prices haven't really changed that much, not out here anyways. Not recently. They went down for a minute, and now they're kind of all back up. No, I get it. Yeah, everyone, yeah, they will buy it. You know what the sad thing is too? It's the same sensor and the same processor and the same autofocus as the A7CR, right? So you could just get the A7CR for $2,000 less. And if you still want that Zeiss look, well, then you would have to get the Loxia. The downside is that the Loxia lens is not, where the hell is it? It's right here. This little guy, you'd have to get this on the A7CR if you really wanted to recreate the look. You're still not going to because this is a different lens. But hey, this lens is also quite old. It's actually 2 years newer than the Sonar that's on the R3, right? The downside is that this is not an autofocus lens. So this is a purely all manual lens. But this is a miniature Milvis lens right here. This is a miniature Milvis. That's exactly what these are. I mean, I think you would have a way better performance getting one of these with the A7CR, and it would still be $1,000 less if you bought everything new. But you wouldn't have to buy it new because these Zeiss Loxias are everywhere, as well as even the A7CRs. But even if you were buying it brand new, that would still, to me, but again, oh, you wouldn't have the autofocus. But the beautiful thing is the A7CR has interchangeable lenses, right? So you can go get, if you want a really good 35 f2, to try to compete with this, you would just get the Sigma Contemporary. Now, I put in the description of this video, I put my 1-month review of the RX1R II along with my 1-year review of the RX1R II, but I also down there, you'll notice I put 2 more links to my reviews and footage of the Sigma Contemporary line. Granted, it was for L mount on the Sigma FP, but it's the same lens. It's just they also make it for E mount. And when I tested those lenses, I was only allowed to keep them for a week. I sent them right back. This no joke. And I even think I say it in the review. That 35 f2 is probably my favorite lens out of that entire line. But honestly, it might be tied with the 65 f2. And that's the trio right there, the 24 f2, the 65 f2, and the 35 f2. But regardless, it's not about that because I don't care. But this lens on the A7C2 would give you autofocus with the same focal length and the same f-stop. Or you just get this shitty thing, the 35-1.8, and then you'll have like a Sony lens. But I don't know. I think the Sigma is a more interesting lens to have if you need autofocus. But if you don't care about autofocus, the best compromise is the Loxia with the A7CR. You have the same exact processor, the same exact resolution, the same sensor. You're actually getting a camera where you can swap any lenses like I just showed you. But more importantly, guys, we haven't even gotten to the meat and potatoes, a screen that you can actually shoot waist level with. Here's another crazy part. Beyond the fact that they recycled the lens, and we're going to get into like the design issues they did. Who cares? Like everyone's so excited that, wow, they finally figured out how to put a bigger battery into that tiny body. Like that's what they're hoping we'll all focus on. The fact that now it has a bigger battery. The problem is like, no, dude, I don't care about the battery. The batteries were so small. I took 4 of them with me everywhere. They're like this. It's like having 4 matchbooks in your pocket. That's nothing for a guy that smokes 4 matchbooks. That's nothing, right? Those batteries were nothing. That, like, of course they focus on the one thing that like people's brains will get fogged by, right? Like if you have you're like, oh yeah, we just worried about, now we just have a better battery. But it's like, literally, like, what do you mean? The screen went backwards. Like, okay, here's the thing. Here's the craziest shit. This screen has a higher resolution than the A1 Mark II. The A1 Mark II doesn't even have, right? The A1 Mark II is their flagship camera. The resolution of that screen is only 2.1 million dots. The resolution of this screen is like nearly 3 million almost. What was it? Maybe not that high. No, not even close. 2.36 million. So it essentially right now might be Sony's highest resolution LCD screen on the market right now. Might be. I don't know. Might be. That's what it sounds like. But what the fuck? Why doesn't it tilt? I would have took way less resolution to have a screen that's actually usable. Why are we going backwards here? The camera is devolving in a way. It's like, what happened? The tilt screen was one of the coolest parts of the upgrade for the R1 II, the R2. And then you take it away on the third one. It's like, I am convinced that the people that design the cameras at Sony, I am convinced that they don't actually use these cameras. I'm convinced they don't use them. Because it's just crazy to me. It's so crazy to me, especially to think that this camera. Okay, here's the history with the RX1 cameras. They've always been to flex back for the Leica Q, right? That's been the whole thing the whole way. So it's like, okay, so if this third one is like the flex to the Q3, it's like, guys, first of all, look at the price difference. Like you're almost paying Leica prices for this thing. And then to think like it's a 14-year-old lens. And then the fact that the screen doesn't even do anything remotely useful for beyond just holding up to your face. It's crazy to me. And then it's like, but the EVF didn't get any better. This is the same EVF that's in the A7C cameras. It's a tiny bit better than the R2. Tiny bit better. And I know because I have an A7C Mark II and I had the RX1R II. And I have a fucking Sony X100 Mark VII, right? It's like, dude, what the hell is going on here? It's like, and then this, we can't even get a joystick. We didn't get a joystick. And then you go, wait a second, this dumb shutter wheel thing is back here. Remember in the R2, I showed guys how you could use the back wheel as your shutter wheel because a lot of people were complaining that this R2 didn't have a physical shutter wheel. So I'm like, well, it's okay. You can use the little wheel on the back. You would have thought after all the people that complain, because here's the thing too. Look at the top of this camera. It's the same fucking camera. Look at it. Watch. I'll show you. Literally, like, the things that you would hope would get advanced don't, right? This is the crazy part to me, right? Look at that camera. Look at that. And now look at this. Oh, okay, so now the EVF is just stuck on the outside, and you won't get as much dust pulled down onto the sensor. Congratulations. We fixed the dust problem with that pop-out EVF. But all of this, you couldn't make the little scroll wheel on the back, the exposure dial, and put a real physical shutter dial on the top? Wouldn't have that made more sense? Make that wheel down, this wheel right here, make that be the exposure comp and have a real shutter. It's like, I don't get it, guys. It's like, they really think that the battery and the same tech that's in the A7CR is gonna, I guess you would. I guess if you're like, you've never used this one, the first one, or not the first one, technically the third one. If you never used the RX1R II, that's the only way I could imagine that you would remotely be interested in this at all. Because it's like, it doesn't make sense to someone that now owns the A7C II, but also used this camera for literally every day for a year. This was, the R2 was literally my every single day carry camera. I literally shot at least a couple images a day. Hands down, Scout's honor, guys. And I'm telling you, like, I don't know. I just don't know, man. I think that you would have to be completely blind to the previous camera to even remotely look at this camera with what's already available currently on the market. It just seems like a weird, and the crazy thing is, it's like, well, these are supposed to be the cameras that, this is the flex camera, but this isn't a flex. This isn't a flex. This really isn't. Everyone's like talking like, oh, it's the highest resolution, full frame, smallest camera. No one cares about that anymore. I don't think we should care about that anymore. Who cares about that? Like, don't you care that you're spending $5,100 on this old ass lens that it's going to be really hard for you to manually focus? So now you've spent $5,100 on a point and shoot? You might as well bought a Leica. If you're going to spend $5,100 on a point and shoot, because this camera is impossible to manually focus. It's nearly impossible to manually focus these lenses. They are. That's my whole feelings on it. I just wanted to get all of that out because you just never know. You just never know. Who knows? Maybe this will be the one. Maybe the thumbnail was so crazy that they'll go, okay, yeah. Because they shouldn't be watching the live. Sony reps should not be watching this live. They should be watching the actual videos I do on these Sony cameras. And they would get a little bit of insight into what, like, wow, what does it feel like if you actually use the camera? I wonder what that feels like. Oh my goodness, my gracious. And look, something else that was recycled. Look at this button. This button, that's where the dumb record button was on the other one. Guys, I said it once, I said it a million times. A camera this small should not have a button on the side of it where the palm of your hand goes. The camera is this big and you put a button right where you got to hold the thing. I've never understood that, and they still have it. People like that. People are asking for that. Who really loves a button right under the palm of their hand? Who loves having a button right here? Isn't that just great? You just kind of put a little pressure on it and it just turns on your, what is it going to turn on? I don't know. Your little grid lines. I don't get it. Who's using that button? It's crazy to me. How would you even hold the camera? Is that how you guys are doing it? You're like pressing the palm of your hand into the camera? Is that, I guess that's what it's for, because that's what always happened to me when I was in photo mode and it would accidentally say, cannot record movie right now. And it's like, why is it saying that to me every time? Well, because they put a button right under my hand. Oh man, nothing has changed. That's like, I guess that's my take on it. Nothing has changed. What has changed is recycled from other cameras. And honestly, the only thing that has changed, because you can't even say the battery, because who cares? Who cares? Isn't it the same battery that's standard on all Sony batteries now, or all Sony cameras now? Isn't the same? I think so, or it's close to it, whatever. Who cares? It's bigger. Congratulations. But that's all we cared about. All we cared about was a bigger battery, and let's have a higher resolution screen, but let's make it not tilt because we don't have room to do that. These guys don't need a joystick. These guys don't need a shutter dial. These guys don't need, they clearly don't need a screen that tilts. They definitely don't need a new lens. This lens is so good, guys. They do not need to be able to manually focus. It's a $5,100 camera. It will be great. They are going to all be autofocusing, and they're going to love it because that's why they bought it. They bought it for the amazing Sony autofocus that you can get in almost any Sony camera right now. So what's the draw here? I guess because it's so tiny, but it's actually not, because the lens is like a little half beer can. It's a big, you can't put this in your pocket. I've shown that too. Like, it's too big to put. It's not actually truly a pocketable camera, right? So it's not like it's like this idea of like portability, pocketability. No, I don't buy that. I used it for a year. I don't think it is. I mean, if I showed you the bag I had to buy to carry it around, it's not. If I had to buy a bag to put this in, it's clearly not pocketable, right? Like, so that shit doesn't make sense to me. So you're not gonna sell me on that. It's like, but it is still smaller than this, right? Okay, but I would still do this any day of the week. I just would. You would have to convince me that this lens has a new design on it. You really would. But I get it. I don't want to piss anymore on people's parades. If you never used, look, here's the truth though. Okay, let me get real with you guys. Here's the truth. Again, if you never used this one, if you never used the R2, then I get it. You would be like so stoked to get your hands on this. And it makes sense. That makes sense to me. And I'm excited for those people. I'm excited to, you know, watch those videos and stuff. But I think that if you have this already, then I don't think you need to fucking worry about it. I really don't. Because you want to pay that much more money just to have the same technology that you could get if you just bought an A7CR. You'd be better off keeping your R2 and just getting an additional A7CR rather than like swapping out for this thing. I don't know. You would have to be a really, 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 really big fan of the style of this camera, because nothing has changed. Nothing has changed about this camera that made it annoying, right? In my opinion, because the horrible focus by wire and inability to manually focus, they didn't change that, right? And in fact, they made it worse. They made it more annoying because now I can't even tilt the screen. And they still didn't put a real shutter dial on it. I don't understand, man. I don't get it. Who's it for? Make it make sense. You guys tell me who it's for. I don't know who it's for. It's not for me though. I'll tell you that. I don't think it's for anyone. I'll tell you who it's not for. It's not for anyone that is already on the R2. Stay on the R2. Unless you're just like, I need those megapixels. And I know you guys love your megapixels, boy. They love their megapixels. All right, here we go. Let's see. I was on a tyrant too long. I apologize. For all two of you that are still here, I apologize. They most likely didn't want to invest in new machining for the production line. I guess not. He said he watched the release last night. Oh, you watched the release last night. Rick says, I just think they had excess material, then add the new tech, then thought it's so much in demand they would now ask $5,100. But, you know, Petapixel was talking about how the tariffs are making it go up too, which is true, you know. Did Sony let an intern head up their engineering and design departments? 2 cameras this year are total flops. What was the other Sony camera that was, oh, the FX2? I don't know. I didn't really mind the FX2, but yeah, it's just, they're recyclers. Sony are recyclers. It's really coming into like, it's like, we all know that, right? We all know it. But when you see it so blatantly, you just feel like a little bit like, are they just like blatantly recycling their shit right in front of us? Like it's almost like, it's almost disrespectful. like I take it as an insult. Like I really do. I take this shit as an insult because I'm like, do they think we're that dense? Like I'm like, wait a second, man. Like, there's not a whole lot new here. There's nothing new on this camera at all except this high resolution screen that doesn't tilt. I'm like, what else there's literally nothing new on this camera. I'm so confused, man. I guess like, they're like, what do you mean? It's a huge improvement. I guess, yeah, from this camera to that camera. But it's like, they didn't make any actual advancements on the camera itself. They just like took another sensor and changed the insides. They changed the insides. That's all they did. It's like, but this is supposed to be the next generation. Is this like a normal thing in the fucking camera world? Like, is this what happens? Like, I would think like, look, if I had a camera company and like, if I was making a new version of a previous camera, I would be like, let's make it better though. Like, let's make it better though. And yeah, I get it. Higher resolution, all of this stuff, you know, faster processor, way more phase whatever focus points. Yeah, that's cool. You definitely made the insides better. But what about like guys, like I feel like people at Sony like don't hold the camera and walk around with it, you know, and use it, you know, and like really like live with it. And it's like, that's, you know, like, is nobody doing that anymore? Do we not care anymore? Like, do we not care, like, you know, how it physically works and feels? I guess I really, I'm not trying to be a dick. Like, I really feel like the people at Sony don't do that. They don't like live in their cameras because it's like, they're not actually fixing anything wrong with the previous. They're not fixing anything wrong with the previous version. You know, they're just like literally changing the guts. It's like, that doesn't seem fair as a purchaser, or what do you call me, a consumer? Like, that doesn't seem fair. It's like, why aren't we like fixing it's a camera. Like it's a camera. Like think every time that they put a new version of a car out, right? Like the whole thing changes, not just the inside, but the outside too. Like you remember like how the Priuses used to look? Like the Priuses used to be like really boxy looking, like almost like little miniature SUVs. And now you look at a Prius and it's like a little squashed moth. It's like a squashed bug, you know, the way it looks from behind. And it's like the camera company doesn't do that too. Like they're not like changing the inside and the out with each new generation. It's weird to me. I don't know. And it does feel, I don't know, I'm offended by it because it's like, look how much they're asking for this camera. And it's like nothing really has changed though. And again, when you buy these fixed lens cameras, you're buying it for the lens, specifically for the lens. That's what you're actually paying for. That's what makes all of these, you know, the Q cameras and these cameras so unique. It is the lens. The lens is literally attached to the sensor. You remember? And that's how they get the leaf shutter in there. Am I repeating myself now? Did I already say all this? Sorry, guys. I'm walking in circles now. I apologize. Yeah. Bro, is it Sunday? No, I know. It's because like, you know, I feel like last time when the red stuff came out, I just feel like it's just good for me to do these lives like the day it happens, if I'm available, you know, and I guess technically wasn't available, but I kind of made myself available. But I just felt like I had these grievances that, you know, maybe I needed to probably talk to a therapist about, but I did it on here instead. So that's probably why. Don't lose your cool, GP. Yeah, well, no, I don't think I will review this. Sony, I've never done anything with Sony. It is sad, really, because I think they should be watching my videos, but I get it. I'm not really Sony's type. Right. Even though I do a lot of content about their cameras, but, you know, I shared the things that I just shared, you know, so it is a little bit of a bummer because they would understand like, well, maybe we should start. But, you know, I guess Sony's not the company to do that. I guess Fujifilm is the company to think about the way it feels. Right. They're like the retrofitted guys, and Sony are like the I don't know what they are anymore because it just, I don't know. It just feels like a disappointment, I guess. Right. Cause like, you know, I don't know. A lot of you probably aren't as diehard fans of the R2 like I was, but if you go watch my videos about this camera, I mean, again, the one of them has 71,000 views. Like I was passionate about this camera, but in that video, after a year of using it, I'm definitely passionate about my dislikes of it too, which are most of the things I just mentioned here. So I'm passionate on both fronts, right? Either way, I think that's why I'm so disappointed because like this camera had a cult following and I was definitely in the cult. I might have been one of the hierarchies of the cult for all I know, you know, and then to see like, oh, this is what we get. This is what the cult gets back. It's like, no, this is not what the cult wants. I got to plug in my fan. This is not what the cult wants, guys. So I don't know. I guess I had to see what the rest of the cult felt like. A used Sony A7C plus a 35mm f2 lens. You can get maybe 2 or 3 sets for that price. Plus Chinese lenses, my gosh, are so humanely priced nowadays. Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you, like I was saying, if you wanted to get the similar feeling of this though, I would do just that. I would do the A7CR with the Luxia. That's what I would do. You wouldn't have the autofocus. Again, I know I kind of repeat things in the live because I never know who's in and out. But if you want the autofocus, go with that, with the A7CR. It's just way smarter. It really is. That is not an autofocus lens. No, the Luxia. Yeah, I know. But that, yeah, I think I explained all that already. Yeah, dude, it is. Just watch. The price will drop in 6 months, pissing off everyone who bought it early. I don't think it will. They really stand strong on this. The RX1R II never dropped. It was still selling for $3,300 last summer on B&H. Last summer, this camera, the R2, was still $3,300. And this camera came out in 2015. So they won't back down on that price. I really don't think they will. Unless they wanted to blame if something changes with the tariffs, then I guess they would say that they would blame it on that. But other than that, I don't see it dropping down. I'm curious to see DJI cam. Yeah, I mean, they've been talking about that DJI camera for like 2 years now, right? You have great tenor voice. Do you sing? Do I sing? No, I cannot sing at all. I have no sense of rhythm. 7CR with the Sigma Art lens winner. Yeah, the contemporary. Yeah, it would be this one. The contemporaries are amazing, beautiful lenses. A used Leica Q here is around 12 to 1500. Yeah, for the Mark 1, that's very cheap. They're not that cheap here. Cuz see, I was pulling up the RX1 right there, but I'll show you how cheap the Leica Q is. They're not that cheap right now. I think it's just because things are really tough here in LA right now. See, like this is a silver, but it's near mint, but that's still going for 2500. You know what I mean? Like here's a old, they even lost the hood, 2200, right? So that's for the very first Q. I mean, those prices, yeah, to me that's not quite, I don't know, that's the first Q, like but I mean it is a Leica, so there you go. People also need to realize that not every lens marked Leica is made by Leica. You can also license the right to make Leica lenses, and they supply with the specs and oversight. Yeah, they still do that shit. Like they used to do that with Minolta. Let me make sure this is on. I had to crank out the fan on the back of the A7C2. The price level is a year 2025 post-tariff, 2025 inflation level price level. Better get used to it. The times of plenty at affordable prices are coming to an end is global trade. Yeah, I don't care though. Like honestly, I don't care. If this camera was $2,000, I still wouldn't buy it. I still would not buy this camera if it was $2,000. I just wouldn't. Again, guys, I'm telling you, if you've used this lens, if you've used the lens, yes, we all know it creates stunning images. But you all know that you don't always use autofocus. There are plenty of times where you have to pull manually. You just know because the autofocus can't read your mind. I mean, I know it's Sony autofocus. We all know how good the Sony autofocus is, but from time to time, you do need to manually focus. Trust me, you know this. You know this. Yep, just like Hermes, the battery is still not good. Will photographers' fee also inflate then? I mean, no, because the clients are going to offer lower rates as they get squeezed as well. So if the clients are offering lower rates, then you'll be forced to work for lower prices or don't work at all. That's just the downside of freelance, you know? Contemporary 35 mil. Yeah, that's what I was saying. She's a beautiful one. Oh, I accidentally just X'd it out. No, bring it back. Yeah, I wouldn't buy this. This is the one Petapixel. Petapixel is recommending this one. I wouldn't get that, dude. No way. The 35 f2 has way more character than that Sony lens. Sony lenses have no character. The Sony lenses have zero character. But this little Sigma lens will be nice. You could put that on the A7CR, but I'm telling you, get this if you want the Zeiss look on the A7CR. And you would get very, very close to the RX1R Mark III. I'm telling you, you would. Probably even get cooler results because the Luxia is I mean, these Milvus lenses are no joke. That's all it is. It's a baby Milvus. What's with the weird font on the RX1 symbol? What are you talking about, dude? The weird font on the symbol? Their font that they use? I don't know, dude. Are you talking shit about their font? What are you, the papyrus guy? That's hilarious. I'm going to resell my gear for 3 times the price on eBay. I mean, yeah, but eBay will gouge you too, though, on the fees, the seller fees. Or Voltlander 35 APO Lanthar is crazy good if in demand. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you could get you know what I have? I have one of these. I have a macro adapter. That's one of the benefits. That's another benefit of using a camera that's interchangeable lenses. Because now you can put all your awesome Leica M mount glass on there and actually be able to focus way closer on any Leica rangefinder if you get the little macro adapter. I did a video on that. Man, nobody watched that. There's some videos I put out that just instantly tank. I don't know what it is. They don't. This is why they invite YouTubers to the Sony camp. The YouTubers sit with the engineers and tell them what they like and dislike. They're not camera people. Mind-blowing. Oh, dude. I forgot to plug in my tube. Let me plug that in real quick. Yeah, well, it's still like, that still is like concerning though. That's still concerning though, because it's like, dude, like, do they not take notes from these YouTubers? Like, are they not taking notes? It's like if that is a real thing, that is even more disappointing because it's like I know those but maybe who knows that they all want to kiss the ring, right? So they probably wouldn't get real with them. Like, dude, I want these guys to like, meet me in the back of a Home Depot or something, and I'll tell them the reality of their cameras. Yeah, dude, like the mafia days, man. Come meet me in the back of the deli. I'm gonna open up a florist shop. I'm gonna have a florist shop in LA. You ever see The Town? Remember the florist from The Town? I'm gonna be the florist for these camera companies. Yeah, why don't you come in the back and see me? Oh my God, that's hilarious. Oh man. Wait. Hold on, guys. It jumped. Oh, it jumped. I'm so far behind. I gotta work backwards again. They invite the shills who say that the camera is great. Why can't we get lenses with characters and visual distinct bokeh? Bro, you can now first, guys. Okay, don't get it twisted what I'm saying here. My complaints about this lens, because I know this is gonna get misconstrued. My complaints about this lens is the physical manual handling of it, right? Don't forget, this is a beautiful lens on the inside. The optical design, the elements, the characters of this specific sonar lens are beautiful, but you can already get it all the way back to the first generation. Because again, it's the same lens. My issue with it is the horrific manual handling. It is just atrocious because of the focus by wire. And it makes sense. This lens was made in 2012. That was 14 years ago. It makes sense it's shit. But it doesn't make sense that they would put it on a camera that comes out in 2025 and they had 10 years to improve the thing. They had 10 years to improve this and they decided not to. That's another mind-blowing aspect of it. Let's not forget that. They had 10 years to redevelop this camera. And they clearly just a month ago were like, hey, we should do this. I know it wasn't a month ago, but you understand what I'm saying. This just feels like a little bit of like, come on, guys, come on. The whole reason you buy these fixed lens, it would have been fine. You could have easily kept the same optical design and just fixed the lens. Just put it in a better body, like a better housing, right? And again, you know what? Maybe it just looks identical. Maybe it just looks so, but I really feel in my heart of hearts, I feel like if they actually did fix the issue with the focus by wire, they would have mentioned it in this little blurb where they mentioned the lens, but they just like breeze over the lens. They're just like, yeah, it's the same legendary lens from its predecessor, but they don't say anything about, updating the focus by wire. Like they don't talk anything about actually updating the physical build of the lens or the housing of the lens. There isn't any updates to that. And I feel like if there was, they would have mentioned it in this little blurb. Because I think that would be important to mention, right? Especially when people like me are like, dude, the focus by wire is trash. So it's just like, really? That should have been like I would have thought, like if I worked for Sony and I'm like the weird, crazy, quacky engineer guy, I would be like, shouldn't the first thing we fix is the lens? But Sony are recyclers and they go, no, look at all those old ones we have piled up back there. Chop them off and put it on the new body. Because that's definitely what it feels like they did. Especially when they say it's the same lens. Okay, all right. I could literally just keep roasting them for hours. We'll make you an offer you can't refuse. Bring back Minolta lenses. John 2000 is back. Yeah, John, I'm just I'm just sharing my grievances about the RX1R II here. For me, that's a 5-hour drive north, or go to Canada. Check out Light Lens Lab. Oh yeah, bro, what do you mean? I did a video on them too. That's right, I have it right here. Oh, Amandrew, you didn't see the video I did on the Noctilucent? Oh, Amandrew, you're breaking my heart right now, bro. You're breaking my heart, Amandrew. I show this lens. Oh, John 2000. John 2000, our EP is in the house. Bro, it's not even a scheduled program. This was supposed to be an indie shoot, John 2000. Thank you, John. We love you, bro. He said the really old man is watching. Really old, because I made the mention of the really old lens. Oh, Mandrew, you're breaking my heart, bro. I did a whole video on the Noctilucent Light Lens Lab 50mm 1.2, and I show footage of it on the FX6 and the Leica M10. Yeah, man, go watch it. You'll find it in the archive. It's in there. Yeah, bro. I already know about Light Lens Lab. They're. I wasn't a fan of them at first, but they won me over time. That's rad, John 2000 in the house. Hi, my name is Steven. It's been 20 weeks since my last camera rant. Oh, is it getting too crazy? A lens is actually many lenses. Lensception. It's just lenses all the way down. No, I know. That's what I mean by the optical design, if that's what you're talking about. I know it's the same exact optical design. The problem is it's also the same exact housing, apparently. That Light Lens Lab is crazy nice though. Yeah, dude. Sorry, bro, been out with cataract. Damn, this dude's man. You're the man, Omandru. We looking out for you, bro. All right, now we're gonna go backwards here. He said, I never had much of an issue with my Lumix lens with the focus by wire. Are your Lumix lenses from 2012? Because this focus by wire is from 2012. What is the issue with focus by wire? It's horrendous. It sucks. This camera lens combo in particular is very bad because they're all different. They're all different. Even these new Sony G lenses. So the one on the A7C Mark II right now is the 40mm 2.5, this lens right here. And then the other one, I have the 24-2.8. Even these guys, it's not great. It's not as horrendous as the RX1R II was, but it's still not great. Like focus by wire is a weird thing, man. It's something that I absolutely despise. And some autofocus lenses have better performance of it than, you know what I mean? So what it is, it's like when it's autofocus, I don't even know if it's by wire, if that's the proper term, but that's what it feels like, right? So the autofocus of these lenses feels like they're being controlled by a wire. So when you grab it to manually focus it, right? And it'll slip. Like it literally won't focus as you're trying to manually focus it. So you're turning the ring and it's just not actually focusing because there's something wrong. There's like a disconnect in the lens between, the autofocus and whatever. And yes, when it is in MF mode, when it's in full manual focus mode, it eventually will work, right? Because that's how it works. Like it's just it's not tactile. It's not real. For instance, like any other lens you grab, like a non-autofocus lens, I can rip that and I can focus it. And if I say I want to land at 2 meters and I know exactly where to put it so I can land at 2 meters. All of these autofocus lenses, some of them are so hard to do that because it's not designed really to do that. I mean, they have a manual focus mode, but it never feels as good as a real lens, like a real manual focus lens. That is honestly one of the selling points of the Leica Q camera. I mean, somehow, because this is also an autofocus lens, but somehow Leica made it to where when you hold that and you focus with it, it's very convincing. It almost feels like the real Summilux because this isn't the real 28 Summilux, right? You guys do know that, right? Like, first of all, a real Summilux is 1.4, not 1.7, right? So that this isn't the real 28 Summilux that they all say is like, oh, you're getting this $10,000 lens for, no, it's because it's not the real thing. The real Summilux is a real Summilux. So, but whatever, I digress. But what I'm saying is like somehow Leica figured out how to do, they made it in a very tactile way. It's still an autofocus lens, but it just feels quite nice. It feels more like a manual lens should feel. And man, the worst case scenario of any autofocus lens that I've ever tried to manually focus is these RX1 cameras. They're nearly impossible to manually focus. It just feels like it keeps spinning sometimes. Like you're just like, I just want to like manually focus. Like it shouldn't be difficult, right? It should honestly be one of the easiest things to do with a camera, because it's just like this, that's what makes the M camera so good. Every which way to go, right? You go all the way here, you're at infinity. You go all the way this way, now you're at minimum. You go in the middle and you're pretty good for, at a normal distance to shoot away. It was usually like 3 meters. Well, this one's 5 meters in the middle, but this is a 40 mil. But you know what I mean? Like focusing shouldn't be that difficult, right? It's like, this is like my biggest gripe about the camera. The lens in particular. Anyways, I could explain it forever. Yeah, dude, Omandra got his cataracts. I feel so detached. Tech and fiscally digital Super 35 millimeter start to come to the end era. Megapixel by format. I think we'll have to go to digital medium format or come back on analog film. Everybody's pushing the digital medium format. That's why Fuji just put out their medium format camera. Arri has their digital medium format now. Like, I guess, but that's the opposite direction though. Like that's like feeding into this idea that we need more pixels, we need bigger sensors. Like it keeps going that way, right? They should let you modify the focus behavior in the menu since it's electric, like easy keyframes. Now that would be amazing. For $5,100, that would be a feature that you would feel like, damn, that's worth the money. But don't Lumix cameras already do that? Isn't there a camera that, oh, it's the Ricoh cameras. I think the Ricoh cameras kind of do that because their lenses can't manually focus at all because it's like it truly is a pocket camera. Omandra says he feels like fighting against AF all the time. Yeah, dude, I feel you too, bro. With focus by wire, you don't control the mechanics of the lens. Your input goes to a chip and a computer focuses the lens. The stealth fighters are fly-by-wire. Welcome to progress, bro. It doesn't feel like progress to me, Trevor. It feels like it's going backwards. The way these lenses focus, it's not normal. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's what is the word? It's dysfunctional. Like, like it doesn't work. But it's just a third stop away. No, too bad for that price. For videos, yes, AF is nice. Right, but even for video, like anything, like I don't care what you're shooting. Like you always need to manually focus on something. You can't always expect the computer to read your mind. Like it's just not. There's gonna be plenty of times where you're like, damn, how does it not know? And then you're like, well, let me just do it. Like even on my RX100 Mark VII, that dumb camera doesn't even have a real lens on it. So I had to literally program the ring of the camera as my manual focus switch, so I can sometimes make it be like, dude, focus here, or you got to fuck with the touch screen, and then that's a pain in the ass because then you're touching all over the screen. It's like, I don't know, maybe I'm too old school then. Hey, what the maybe that's what it is. Justin's just too old school, dude. I'm just way too old school, and maybe you're right. Maybe it's like, dude, I can't progress with these shitty lenses that don't manually focus properly. Oh man, John just sold 32 lenses ranging from Nikon to Leica. John, you had Leica lenses for sale, bro? They were sitting here collecting dust. I need a new camera because I have 380,000 clicks and it does not work as well. It is a Sony A7 IV. Holy shit, John, 380,000. Yeah, that probably won't be a very good resale item. Maybe not. Congratulations on the lens sales, though. Fuji is coming up with the infrared medium format and APS-C. Infrared's cool. Infrared's cool. Yeah, you want a cheap infrared camera? I think I showed this. Maybe it was only on my Instagram. But the M8. The M8 is actually a really good poor man's infrared. I don't know if it can be called poor man's because even the M8 price has gone way up. But that was a really good poor man's infrared camera. But honestly, you can convert. You could just buy some cheapo camera. You could just like find some cheapo Fuji camera or something. I don't know if you're going to get a Fuji camera for that cheap, but some cheap, maybe an old Sony camera. And you can have I think Kalari will convert it for like $500, like infrared. Yeah, not tactile. Exactly. 32 lenses, he didn't offer them to us first day. That's what I was thinking, especially when he said they were Leica lenses. I'm like, bro, dude. But I don't have any money anyways. Exactly how I feel when using AF. It's like having two minds working at it. I want focus here, not there. Yeah, I know. It's a lot of bitching. I'm sorry, guys. I was bitching too much tonight, but it was just, I think it's true. I drank the Kool-Aid on these cameras, and I just felt, I think when that happens, I think when you become invested, this camera legit is a cult following, right? So you get invested into the cult, and you're just like, man. And you're like, so then what happens is you convince yourself that they will never make a new version. Because again, this is 10 years old. It'll be 10 years old in November, right? This camera came out in November 2015, I believe, right? So you're like, dude, after nearly 10 years, you're just like, there's no way they're going to put out a new version. And then especially when they started dropping the A7C and then the A7C2, and certainly with the A7CR, you're just like convinced, like, yeah, dude, this is definitely dead. This is dead. And then, nope. I guess this explains why just a few months ago they finally discontinued it, because this thing was still selling for $3,300, like, just like 6 months ago, right? Like in just 2024, which wasn't that long ago, this was still selling for $3,300 on this very website, right? So I don't know. You just feel like, damn, you would think again, like you would think like, oh my God, the angel has arrived. And then when the angel gets there, you're like, oh, this angel sucks. And you're just so let down, dude. Oh man. I hope consumers don't buy this thing because that will give Sony the confidence to do a price hike on future products. Nah, dude. No. Guys, no. That's the wrong thinking. This camera has always been a flex camera. They've always had insane prices on this camera. Always. Like I was saying, this one was still selling for $3,300 just last year, and it's fucking 10 years old. Like, this specific camera has always been Sony's flex. I think specifically to Leica. I think you can find that in the literature. Again, this is the 4th version. So they've been doing this shit since like 2012. You know, they've been dropping these since 2012. And in the beginning, they did admit, certainly with the R, I don't think they admitted it until the 2nd version, which was the RX1R. And then I think they finally admitted like that was their flex towards Leica or whatever, because by the RX1R, the Leica Q had come out. So the very first one, or no, I'm sorry, the very first R, aka the very second one, it's just weird the lettering of them. But yeah, it was the RX1R that was supposed to be a flex towards the Leica Q, you know? So no, I don't think, I wouldn't let the price of this camera worry you like, oh my God, all the Sony cameras. No. This is how this camera has always been. This camera has always been like the crazy inflated price camera. It always has, right? It just has. Someone spilled Justin's latte this morning and he's been pissed since. It was the B&H. It was the B&H. It was the B&H guys. Their video, man. They caught me at the wrong time, dude. They caught me at the wrong time. Love your honest bitching, bro. Breath of fresh air. I don't mean to bitch like that. I was trying to make it more like funny, but yeah, I think I was still a little bit bothered by it. Maybe again, I'm in the cult. When you're in the cult, it really offends you. The cult is offended by this. Oh, dude. And when I say the cult, I'm not saying a Sony cult. I'm specifically talking about the RX1R cult. I'm talking about the RX1R Mark II cult. And you all know, if you're in it, you know what I'm talking about. So, yeah. John says he doesn't need the A7R5. I'm waiting to see what the A7 IV comes out with. I don't need a sensor that blows up at 61 megapixels. I don't need that much resolution anymore. Hey, I agree. And that's another good point, guys. This camera has the crazy 61 megapixels, but there's no stabilization in this thing. Could you imagine shooting with that high of resolution and you don't have any stabilization? Dude, they were already bitching about that with the RX1R II. There were people already bitching about that. Again, like, who are they taking advice from on these YouTube camps? Can I go to the camp? Can I please sign up to go to your camp? They'd be like, dude, you got to sleep in your own tent in the back. With pleasure. With pleasure. Fuck no, I don't want a room with some of these yahoos, dude. I would have to have my own tent. We already know that. Oh, Jesus. Leica is coming up with an M11 with EVF. Your thoughts? I've already trashed that. I've trashed all. Hey, go watch my M10 video. Go watch my 1-year review of the M10, and I trash all the digital Leicas pretty much. They're all, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. Flex, Sony needs to read about what an actual flex is. Well, hey, Trevor, come on, dude. When the RX1R II came out in 2015, this was a huge flex to Leica. This camera was insane. This is like 42 megapixels. This literally blew the Leica Q out of the water, the Mark I Leica Q, because this thing, the screen tilted, this little EVF popped out. I mean, everything about this, and it had, I mean, this camera still for its time had way better autofocus than even the Leica Q2 could ever imagine, let alone the Leica Q. I mean, this camera straight up seriously was a flex to the Leica Q2. This was a big flex to the Leica Q and still the Leica Q2. And this came out before the Leica Q2. So that's what I'm saying. Or is that what you mean? Do you mean like this is not a flex to the Leica Q3? Because then you would be 100% correct. So yes, you're right. I jumped the gun on that roasting. But if that's what you meant. Because yeah, this Mark III is definitely not a flex to the Q3. This R3 kills the flex streak. Oh man, that's funny. M prices though is out of this planet. Yeah, but the lenses are worth it. Don't let anyone tell you different. Leica lenses are worth it. I have owned an RX1 original model since new, and I'm surprised the price is more than double. I like the upgrade because the OG model has abominable contrast detection. Oh yeah, that's what made the R2 so good too. It had a lot of autofocus points. This camera had a lot of autofocus points. I didn't really have an issue with the R2's autofocus. I never had an issue with, but I always left it on continuous. It killed the battery, but I left it on continuous just to make my life easier. Because again, the lens sucked for manual focusing. I never had the chance to get the previous RX1 cameras, so I do want to try this one. The pricing sucks though. See, that's what I mean. That's the only reason you would get this. The only reason you would ever buy this is if you never ever had this one. Maybe that's why Sony did it. Maybe that's why they did it. Maybe they're just like, they don't want people to buy this because of the shitty color science. Because this was back when Sony's color science was, you know what I'm talking about. This is back on the old Sony color science. That was another huge grief of the R2. And maybe that, I guess that makes sense. Like they want to give something to people that never had the chance to get this one. And I don't know though, man. Still, dude, 5100. I don't think it still doesn't make sense to me just knowing that lens, man. As my advice to you, even if you never did own the R2, I still couldn't recommend this. Knowing this lens and how it works and feels, it's just too concerning. It really is. That lens is too concerning. I think a way smarter deal would to just buy an A7CR. It's the same exact sensor, same exact technology, same processor, same everything. It's the same innards as this. And you could put any lens you want on it. Not to mention, you would have a screen that you can actually, move around and stuff. To take away the tilt screen is so mind-blowing to me. Like, why would you go? I don't understand why they took the tilt screen away. And they want to blame it on like, well, they needed the extra real estate for the bigger battery. It's just like, what, dude, really? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just a weird design. I guess that's what I could wrap it up. If I had to put a pretty bow on it, I would just be like, this is just a weird design, Surprised to see the Zeiss lens since Sony Zeiss partnership is over and Zeiss uses their remaining lenses for their ZV-1 camera. That's what I mean. That's what makes me also feel like they just literally took these off of the old R2s and put them on. And that's why it says in the ad that it's the same legendary lens. It's like that, again, I could run in circles with this shit. The rendering of the Zeiss 35 is beautiful. Well, yeah, the one that's on it. Yeah, I'm not denying that. It is a beautiful lens. It's just horrible to physically use if you want to manually focus it. But I got a little plan, guys. I got a little plan because this Loxia 35-2 is the way to go. Again, you're not gonna have autofocus, but I don't know. That would be my combo: an A7CR and the Loxia, or if you need autofocus, the Sigma Contemporary. Anyways, oh, they only invite shills to the Sony camp. The lens sucks in dust. I'm surprised they're using it again. Yeah, it does suck in dust because of the macro mode. That's what I mean. They would need to they should have revamped the whole lens design, like the housing. That's what I keep saying. It's concerning. Do you think Mark Boner will like this camera? Yeah, probably. I mean, look, yeah. I think everybody that is a rep for Sony they're gonna praise this camera because of the big battery life. They're gonna praise this camera because it's the highest resolution of any Sony screen, right? Because it has more resolution than the A1 Mark II. They're going to praise it because it's got, this amazing autofocus and it has these cool film looks. It's got 4 film looks. And, they're going to praise it for all the marketing reasons, But they're not going to talk about the fact that this lens is 14 years old. So no one wants to talk about that, though. I used to buy high-resolution sensors when I did real estate photography and jewelry photography. When I stopped, they were gone. Nobody needs a 61-megapixel camera. Workflow is a nightmare. Yeah, because those files are going to be huge. 61 megapixels is very huge. Yeah, and you know what else is weird? I think, I guess we'll find out when Petapixel drops their review, because we'll get to see if it overheats, right? Because it might have some overheating issues, man, for like Well, not just for the 4K 10-bit video, by the way, which it has, which is crazy. 4K 10-bit video, you know it's going to overheat on that. But especially if you can't even get the screen pulled away from the camera body, it's going to overheat in no time. But it would be interesting to see like how many frames it can handle in burst mode, like at 61 megapixels raw. You know what I mean? Those are the cool tests that they usually do. Yeah, the 61 megapixels is a nightmare, exactly. Just switched from Sony to Lumix. Sony's business model and recent releases are incredibly frustrating. Lumix S1 II, S1 II-R, and S1 II-E are a much, much superior camera. Much, much superior. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't messed with Lumix since the GH5 days, but I'm only dragging this because, again, if you're new, just stepping in, I'm only dragging this R3 because I was in the R2 cult. And if you haven't seen my video, my 1-year review of this video, go check it out. It's a biggie. It's a big boy. And it, you know, I share all my pros and cons. It just would have been nice if someone from Sony cared about it and implemented it. But I'm a nobody. I don't get invited to camp. Rick Mentor, there's only so much in both images and especially in video that you need pixel-wise. 100%. That's from the wise man, John 2000. Please, may you talk a little about Foveon sensor. This will really change the mode of capturing the light on these sensors. Yeah, Foveon sensor would be rad if they could figure it out. You talking about Sigma's Foveon sensor? They completely abandoned it in that Merle camera. The Sigma Merle camera. They abandoned that, dude. Let me pull it up real quick. You guys know what he's talking about? Do you guys know what he's talking about? How do you spell it anyways? I think it's spelled like this. Yeah, so this weird-ass old camera had the crazy Foveon sensor in it. And isn't this the one they abandoned it on? Because that was the big thing about the FP. Like, huge fans that were in, like, the Foveon cult of the Merrill cult, they thought the FP was going to be like, they finally figured it out. It wasn't the Foveon, though, but it's still a really good sensor. Remember that, guys? The sensor in the FP is really good. I'll stand by that. I mean, minus the rolling shutter issue, but it's a nice, in terms of color science, blows me away still to this day. Still to this day. I look at the video, a lot of the video that I shot on the FP, it's just like, wow, dude, it's crazy good. In the terms of not my footage, but the way that the image was rendered is nice. But yeah, I'm with you, dude. If they could figure out the Foveon, but they can't. I don't know. They don't know what they're doing with that. I think they abandoned it, dude. I think having this like wish list of like a Foveon sensor camera again is like the same as like hoping that we have another like Kodak CCD sensor again. It's like, it's not, I think it's just like, it's extinct at this point, you know? It's like a dodo bird. Wait, what is he saying? What do you mean? This is the best camera ever made. Sony is mother. Sony is faja. The lens is great, but it's focused by wire and it sucks in dust and isn't repairable. Costs over $1,000 to get a lens replacement for Sony. I've had this issue twice. Thank you, April Reed. Wow, April Reed. Wow, we have a female in the audience. That's so cool, guys. But yeah, I agree. I agree with, and 100%. That's another reason why I was bummed out and that scared me about the R2. Why I had to get rid of it because I was worried about, because the majority of the RX1R IIs that you find for sale, like on eBay or Facebook Marketplace, the majority of them will say that, yeah, the manual focusing is kind of crapping out on it. And that was making me so nervous with mine that's one of the reasons why I sold it. Because I was like, oh, if it gets worse than this, I can't handle that. You know, because it was already a pain in the ass to use even when it does supposedly work. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can't imagine what this camera is like when it doesn't work at all. And then on top of that, they were talking about, just like April said, that it costs $1,000 to clean the sensor on these cameras. $1,000 because the sensor is attached to the lens. That's what makes all the fixed lens cameras so special, quote unquote, right? Because the lenses are literally attached to the sensor. That's how they get the leaf shutter in there. I know I've said that 5 times now, but yeah, it's way too expensive to, yeah, it's just another downside of a fixed lens camera, 100%. My GOAT lens is Zeiss 50mm f1.5 sonar. The glow is insane. Is that like a thread mount? Is that like really old? Like a thread mount or like a, cause I don't know what, that would have to be like an M mount or a Leica thread mount. I can't remember the last time I used autofocus. Yeah, but we still do. I use it all the time, but I also manually focus all the time. I use both quite equally. Pixels are only so good these days, good, but it is really wasted at 61 megapixels. Why waste your whole night to download photos? Yeah. I mean, for me, it's more about the processing time. Like, it really eats up your processor. Like, if you got all those images, like, loading into Lightroom, you know, it's like, oh, shit. Like, you know, it's eating up your memory a little bit, too, you know, when you're just trying to, like, quote unquote, develop your digital negative. Overheating, so true. Yeah, I think overheating is going to be an issue with this camera, 100%. 61 megapixel RAW files are about 70 megabits max. Not that big by modern computer standards. I know, but when you start like doing hardcore editing, it could get a little gnarly. I mean, I don't know. Pana S9 and Light Lens Lab, any would just walk all over this. Who cares about autofocus? Are you going to vlog with this? I don't get it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The lens is basically autofocus only. Again, they would have to come out and just address the issue. They would have to say, yeah, Justin Phillip went crazy. We definitely fixed the lens. That would be awesome. Oh my God. Manufacturers ought to revive film cameras and make films cheaper. Make new kinds of film that don't need complicated. Oh, Mandru, there's a bunch of companies making new film this year. Did you guys see the crazy shit that Leica tried to do though? Leica repackaged a black and white film and tried selling it for like $60 or something. Have you guys seen this? It's the black and white film. The Leica film, black and white. Oh, God. Okay, if I ever learn how to spell. Yeah, it's this one, the Monopan 50. Have you guys seen this? They made a Monopan 50, but supposedly it's repackaged from another way cheaper film. Oh, damn it, the price tag isn't on here. B&H probably sells it, right? They must. I have to show you now because I forget what the price tag on it was, but it was crazy expensive. Here it is. Oh, notify when available. They took the price down. I could have swore it was like $65 a roll or something. Oh, man, they took it down. They took down the price tag. Yeah, I think everybody was giving them shit. Either that or like, it's just not listed here. What is that called? Leica Monopan 50. But anyways, I digress. It was like a big, look, what is this? Out of stock, $10. No. Wait a second. I could have swore it was like $60 when they announced this. This film. I could have swore, dude. Hold on. Let's go see the details of Berlin. I hate this. Just tell us the price. Either way, it doesn't matter. It was very expensive when it was first announced, but it's funny now that they're not showing it. Anyways, I digress. But there are a lot of companies making film this year, Omandru. I think it was Omandru that brought that up. Dude, I hate it when I get lost on here, man. Agree about the much superish, but I'm a fanboy now. You bought the R3? Are you saying that you're... Wow. Burst mode, 61 megapixel, takes 5 photos, 30-second buffer. I don't know. I was trying to find the details on it. Like, what is the, what is the rate on it, dude? Like, I was trying to find it. But I couldn't really, it doesn't really tell you, like the FPS, does it? Let me know if you guys are looking. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. Oh, I thought you were being funny. It's 5 frames per second at... No. Wait, what is this? 5 frames per second at maximum resolution for up to 52 frames RAW, 40 frames RAW JPEG. Oh, if you shoot RAW and JPEG, it can do 40 frames. If you only do RAW, it does 52 frames. If you're doing JPEG, only 1,000 frames. But up to 5 frames per second. Up to only 5 frames per second? Am I reading this wrong? Can someone explain this to me? It has to be more than 5 frames per second, right? Or no, that's all it can do at 61 megapixels is 5 frames a second? Guys, that's not that great. My RX107 does like 23 frames per second or something crazy. Like it does like over 20 frames per second. And it's like a little tiny pocket camera. I mean, granted, it's only a 1-inch sensor, but still, like, am I reading this right? 5 frames per second? That doesn't sound very good. It doesn't sound very good at all. I have been using Lumix since 2017, and they have fucked over the people who use their compact photography. I feel like it isn't that like what everyone says about every camera company though. They're like, oh, they fucked over their customers. They lied to us. And I know my thumbnail I know this video probably makes it seem like that. Look, I don't care. I don't care what Sony does. I will still use my A7C II and love it. I will still use my FX6 and love it, right? I don't care. It doesn't make me like ban the whole company. It just makes me be like, dude, you guys, you know, you just let me down is all. That's all. You let the cult down. That's all. You let the cult down. You know, and with my video, I feel like, you know, 71,000 views is not a small audience there, 71,000. And it's like, okay, then clearly, like, you know, I have some sort of hierarchy in this cult. I feel like I have to be the voice of the cult to some level, you know? You know, who else is, you know, I got to give a voice to the people, you know? Or at least the people in my brain. I mean, come on. Don't tell anyone. At weddings, I shoot about 25 shots with the full frame A7R V and use my A6000 for most of the other shots. See, that's what I do too. I've been using my little pocket RX100, the Mark 7 version. I've been using that more than anything lately. Honestly, I love it. You should start dropping your vids on Sony's social media. What do you mean? Like just tagging them like crazy? That would be hilarious. I think I used to tag them. Honestly, I think back when I made that RX1 video, at least the 30-day review. I think by the time, because I just made this last year. Nah, when did I make this? I think I made this like, yeah, maybe like January, February 2024. I think by then I was pretty jaded out and I just like stopped tagging companies. It's like, fuck if they don't care about me. I want to see CCD. Yeah, we all want CCD sensors, but that ain't never coming back. There ain't never, by the way, I'll show you guys something I just found tonight that I really wish I could trade him for. Look, he's got an M9 monochrome. There it is. An M9 monochrome CCD, and it's already had the new sensor put in. So he's got the new sensor, so no corrosion issues. It's the M9, so it's full frame. It's CCD, no corrosion, and not just any CCD, Kodak CCD, the full frame Kodak CCD sensor. But the crazy thing is it's monochrome. But I kind of like that because I've been shooting so much black and white film. I'm like, dang, this would be the camera. Like, I wish I could trade them. Like, I want to trade them so bad, but I don't know. You were talking about CCD. Could you imagine I think if you had a monochrome CCD sensor, I bet you the JPEGs out of that thing are wild. I bet you it is just almost as good as film. I really feel like it would be. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. The film is so unique, man. The film is way too unique. But I think this would get you pretty damn close. A monochrome CCD, that's insane, dude. I still shoot with my FP. Hell yeah, Ranger 7. We know you do with your old Godox projector mounts. That was wild, dude. Hey, I used to put those on my like Aperture 300 and 120s and stuff. But you got to know, dude, you're losing a lot of light when you use that because it's all spilling out the sides. So I used to wrap mine in black wrap. You know, on the sides where it has all those holes? I used to wrap that in black wrap. But it makes it super hot. You just got to let it cool down before you touch it. That's just a pro tip for Ranger 7 because he's using the old Godox projector mount on his new Nanlite Bowens mount. He said the FP is his main cinema camera. Wow, dude. Hey, I believe it. It's a beautiful camera. I mean, if you don't have to do a lot of camera movement, you know, it'll get you really far. So yeah, Sony is turning into an overpriced JoJo Siwa. Well, what? I feel like we just saw something about JoJo Siwa. She was a girl that was dressed in the little, I don't remember. Extinct like the Pentax full frame and medium format. Extinct like the Pentax full frame. Hey, Rick, amen, brother. There are times I still use my A6500 even for big events. It's easy to use. You can get into action, John 2000 says. You can get the lenses from AliExpress. Sony service centers can do the calibration if they have the pre-2017 tools still. I had this done on my RX1 recently. Sony told me to just throw the camera away. These AF also breaks if the camera is dropped more than about 30 centimeters. Lots for sale with busted lenses. Yup, that's what I was talking about. Oh, that makes sense because they break so easily. You know what? I never dropped my RX1R II, but you know the camera that I've dropped a handful of times now? And honestly, it feels better than the RX1R II did, the way it felt. Hey, that's a really good point. What's the weight specs on the new one? Because the R2 did feel a little plasticky all around. And that's why I was so surprised when I got the RX107, the little pocket camera. I was so surprised when I got that because it felt so metal. It felt beefy, like it felt heavy, like a little bit of, like a little brick. And I was so surprised because not even the RX1R II felt like that. So let's see what the weight of this camera was just to get a reminder. It usually tells you like what the body weight of the camera is, right? I'm just curious how it compares to the new one, if they improved the body. I mean, I imagine they did. It looks like an all new body at least, just the same shitty lens. Here we go. With battery and recording media, 507 grams was the Mark II. 507 grams with battery and recording media. All right, let's see what this one says. Way down here at the bottom is where it was. 498 grams. Wait, what? It got lighter? It got lighter? That's concerning. Oh no, dude. Oh my God. Well, let's hope it's because it's made out of a titanium or something. Jesus, dude, are you serious? Oh man, that's concerning to me too. See, and people always say I'm crazy for wanting a heavy camera. I'm sorry, man, but like I do. I want it to feel, you know, like it's got some weight to it, like it's substantial, you know, like that's important to me because one, you know, when you imagine that the things you're capturing has to do with light and time, right? So how can you battle light and time? Well, you don't want it so lightweight that it'll blow away in your hand. You know what I mean? Like you want something that's got a little bit of heaviness to it because you're literally, you know, you're making images with light and time. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a little different with sensors, but you understand what I'm saying. Like I think if you have a little bit beefier of a camera, I mean, it's one of the reasons in the cinema world why you have to rig it up so much. That's one of the reasons, because you're trying to get more weight onto, you know, when we were, you know, doing it with our mirrorless cameras is what I'm talking about, you know. And that's one of the reasons why I beefed out my mirrorless cameras is because I was trying to get it more, one, you're trying to get it more properly balanced, but two, you're trying to make sure like, hey, can we take some of these jitters out? Because the cameras are literally like this big, you know? I don't know. So people called me crazy. People call me crazy anytime I talk about wanting a heavy camera. But to me, it matters. I mean, I get it. Like if you're carrying it around, yeah, it sucks. But like, you're going to get used to it. It's just a camera. Like people act like these things weigh like 50 pounds. It's like, no, it's not going to be 50 pounds. It's just about putting a little bit of like, you know, like let's think back to like the good old days, you know, like let's make it feel nice when you hold it, you know. That's my big thing. But again, you know, that might be old school. That might be like, no one cares about that, JP. No one cares about the weight. We want it lightweight. Oh man. What is he saying? Hold on. Damn it. Now I got lost again. M mount. Yeah, dude, M mount all the way. Just wanted to say your videos have always been incredibly helpful. Your Iviscope videos are fantastic. Thank you for going live today. Aaron Gutierrez. Yeah, dude. Hey, aren't you in the anamorphic group? Aren't you in that anamorph Facebook group? Are you the one that was talking about or I think so, right? Someone else recently mentioned the Iviscope video. Yeah, dude, I'm stoked that people actually watch those videos because at the time when I first was putting those Iviscope videos out, not a whole lot of people were actually watching them. So it is kind of cool to see like older videos start. I guess it's nice just to see when those videos still can be beneficial, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You know, it's like, it's just nice to know, like, because at the time you put those things out and you're like, I suck, no one cares, you know, like, and then, but to know like, wow, now we are, like, that's probably like what, at least 4 years ago, at least. And so it's cool. Like those are still helping people. It's rad, dude. My black magics don't have autofocus. The problem with film stock is the chemicals are, yeah, are they though? There's a lot of, you guys should do your own research on that. There are some, even speaking of Light Lens Lab are literally making their own film. Let's check in on them anyways. They've been, do you know that Light Lens Lab started working on their, cause you guys mentioned Light Lens Lab earlier. They have their own film now. They've been working on a black and white film. Yeah. Do you guys know about this? It was in their development blog. Yeah, look, film project update number 3, new emulsion. Yeah, so this is what I mean. Like there are way more companies that are putting out film. You know, looks pretty good. Yeah, in the beginning, that looked really rough. And this is what I love about Light Lens Lab. They show you how they make everything. Like they show you how they make their lenses. They show you how they're making this film. Like there is no like smoke and mirrors here, you know? I really like it. It's cool. Yeah, and look, they use their cool lenses. They've basically been doing, hey man, they've been doing a really good job at recreating those old Leica lenses. I will say that. But some of them are so expensive. You're like, dude, I might as well just buy the Leica one used. Some of them are really expensive. And you know, they're kind of doing the trend of only making so many. So they sell out super quick. And then that's what makes them even more rare. And like even the secondhand prices are basically the same, if not more, than the original listing price. But yeah, so they got a black and white film. I'm pretty stoked about that. Like, I love black and white film because I can develop it myself. I like being in control of the whole situation, but it gets expensive and it's like, damn, dude, it just gets too expensive. Who would buy this over a Leica Q3? Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is Leica price. This is crazy. And the Leica Q3 is actually going to have like a more enjoyable lens to use, therefore a more enjoyable experience, especially because I can do waist level shooting with the Q3. I don't know. It's very bizarre. Leica's repackaged film is very on brand, and they had this hilarious marketing campaign about their contribution to the community. Dude, that's crazy. I forget who threw them under the bus. I think like Niccolo Presti. I think a couple people threw them under the bus. I don't know if Nick did or not. I feel like he would have if someone did, but I don't want to put that on I don't want to put that on him if he didn't, because I just don't remember who was doing it. But someone was saying like it's just repackaged something else, and I just can't remember what it was. That's crazy. Yeah, it was $50 plus. That's what I was saying. It had a crazy price tag on it. I want to argue that camera's tech has peaked. The new R&D is in video. Single shot images, stabilization, and autofocus has peaked. I don't know if the autofocus has peaked yet. I really don't. I don't think it has. I don't think the technology of autofocus has peaked at all. I don't think that's over yet, which is very scary, but I'm just being realistic. 5 frames per second is probably the limitation of the 2012 era leaf shutter. Damn, April Reed is smart. That's a really good point. You're probably right. It's the limitation of that old ass leaf shutter in the lens. 100%. So you know it's the same exact lens now. You've got a really good point. That is probably right. Yeah, 5 frames per second is trash. That's what I thought. You're not going to be shooting action sports on a travel camera like this at 35 millimeter. Yeah, no, I know. But again, then why does the RX100 Mark VII do like 21 frames per second or whatever it does? I think it might even be like 23 or 24. Like why? Well, they did it because you can, right? So it's like, yeah, why not? If it's a $5,100 camera, like, why can't we at least do what a $1,000 pocket camera can do? You know what I mean? It's just weird. I don't know. But yeah, maybe it's because of the leaf shutter. I don't know. But wouldn't the leaf shutter make it go even faster? I don't know. I'm too dumb to answer those questions. 71K is not a cult. You could probably start a political party already. Hey, you got a good point. No, I'm not saying, dude, no, Omandru, don't, you guys are twisting my words. I'm not saying my video is the cult. I'm saying that the fact that my video has 71,000 views on it shows that I am in the cult and that I have a little bit of a hierarchy within the cult. I'm not saying I'm the leader. I'm saying I'm a hierarchy within the cult. But you're right. Maybe within the whole cult, then I have my little private party. I'm like the Bernie Sanders of the RX1R II cult. That makes more sense, actually. How many rolls of HP5 can you buy for the price of an M9 monochrome? I don't know. I wouldn't be buying HP5, though. CCD has shit dynamic range. Why do people shape it up so much? Okay, you're right. Fine, you're right. It does have bad dynamic range. Now, she's going back to the Leica M9 monochrome. Yeah, it does. I don't even know where it went. It does have, there it is. It does have bad dynamic range, but yeah, I know. Maybe I'm one of the ones that drank the CCD Kool-Aid, but I'm telling you, man, the M8 is wild. The M8 is wild. Look, I was going to pull up and show you guys some old photos here. Originally, because it was RX1R Mark II photos, but also in here, I have, if I can find it now, I have some of my, don't look at that one. That was not too good. This one was from the RX1R II. Right, you have for context, this was taken from behind my steering wheel, okay? And this was a huge crop. This was an insane crop. If you saw the original photo of this, and this was only with the 42 megapixels, 42 megapixels of the RX1R II. So yeah, it's a cool lens, right? It's cool. But then look at the M8. These colors are wild. I want to show you like the black and white M8, right? It's not bad. I mean, really, it's a really cool. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the CCD of that, and this is the M8. This is not even the monochrome. This is just because the M8 had the horrible infrared pollution. and kind of made it like, well, if you shoot it black and white with that high IR pollution, kind of makes a unique monochromatic image because of like all of its faults, you know? But it's kind of cool. And then look how like crazy like Tri-X you can make it. This kind of feels like Tri-X to me, with those high whites and the kind of deep blacks. Just crazy, right? Like, but yeah, I don't know. I think to me, here's another, this is all M8, all M8. It just has a wild look to it, man. And then if you like know the colors, like a lot of people hate the colors. This is with an IR filter too. But now we're getting down another rabbit hole. This is CCD land here. So, but yeah, I could, you know, I'm one of those people. I could revel over CCD all day long because it just looks, now this is an example without IR. This is without the IR filter on it. And it is a little weird, I think, right? And I only say that because I don't have the greatest ability to separate red from green. But I have been told that this image looks a little nuts, but it is because this is not black and white, and it did not have an IR filter on it. Anyways, I know you guys didn't come here for this, but yeah, I don't know. So I do have a little bit of a love for the CCD, and if it's monochrome CCD, but you are right, the dynamic range is trash because it's very, very old. By the way, the latest astronomical telescope down in Chile has a CCD sensor the size of a car. I know, and that's what's crazy because everybody says like, oh, CCD sucks. But the reality is, I was going to do a whole video on this way back in the day when I still owned the M8, but now it wouldn't make sense anymore, I guess. Maybe I could still figure out how to make a video about this. But when I was doing my research, NASA still uses CCD sensors. That's all NASA uses is CCD, right? So that makes sense why you say that the astronomical telescope. Yeah, so in fact, CCDs, if NASA is using it, then they clearly do have better technology. Like they do have the ability for higher dynamic range. The problem is that it sucks up so much power to run the CCD cameras, like the ones that NASA uses. They have these huge generators just running the cameras, just running the sensors. So, and that's part of the problem because they generate too much heat, right? I know I'm pretty sure that's right. Now this is like an idiot retelling you something. So you would probably want to, you know, fact check everything for yourself, but that's kind of like the blue collar cliff notes of it. anyone is free to you know, make that correct if I said something wrong. By the way, Justin, do you remember film when it came in 2,000-foot rolls? Even cost a fortune back then. John, 2000. No, I don't. I don't remember when it came in 2,000-foot rolls. I can count on one hand how many movies I worked on that were actually shot on film, and only 2 of those were on, or no, on 2, maybe 3 of those were on 35 mil. And you're talking since 2010. I mean, I have not had the experience of working with a whole lot of film or been around on a movie that was actually being shot on film. Never saw stuff like that. Sorry, I get lost and then I feel like I should just stop talking when I get lost because I'm just like, dude, there's so much on here. I can't even keep up with it. I sold my last 100-foot roll of Fuji Velvia 50 slide film like 20 years ago for $100 or something. Dude, imagine if you sold it today. The film prices are insane, by the way. They are making film with new modern chemicals, but the old chemicals are almost depleted. Oh, so they're doing this with a new... So is it almost like... I know what the film heads are going to say, like Grainy Days and all those guys. They're going to be like, you might as well just shoot digital now. Is it that bad? Are the new chemicals that bad? Or will the old chemicals become like the new thing to smuggle in? And then there'll be like a whole hipster trend of YouTubers that only shoot on the old film, like the old expired film, which I think already exists anyways. Kodak are getting rid of Ren. Are getting rid of Ren? Oh, Remjet. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, the Light Lens Lab 50 Alcan is dope. Yeah, dude, Light Lens Lab makes some amazing stuff, man. In 1985, 2,000 feet was $1,600. I wonder how expensive it is today. Don't they still have film on these sites? I think, well, if they don't, you know who does though? Freestyle Photo. Damn, shout out to Freestyle Photo. Now they owe me one. I'm giving them a billboard right now. Freestyle Photo is pretty rad for film, but I don't think they have actual cinema film. They only have like, yeah, I mean, look at this shit, dude. This is 120 though. This is 120. Hold on. So like, look at these. Well, these guys have always been around. FPP, these guys have always been around. But this double film, I don't know what this is. Double film? I've never used double film. Granted, I haven't been shooting film that long, but this one seemed very new to me. Yeah, these prices, I mean, these prices honestly aren't that crazy, but it is kind of getting worse. It just depends where you go. There are some shops here though, but look, all of this stuff is out of stock. Cinestill's back out of stock already. I don't know why we got down this rabbit hole now. Wait for metamaterial lenses. Leica Q3 can go up to 90 millimeters. That's crazy. It's like having 4 to 5 Summluxes in one body. Insane. Waiting for used ones. Oh, Mondrew, why are you spreading this myth, bro? I've gone over this, dude. No, that's not. You can't say that, dude. You can't say that having, just because it crops in, is not the equivalent of having 4 to 5 Summlux. No, dude. You still only have one Summlux. You still only have one Summlux. You just have a Summlux attached to a high-resolution sensor that crops in. You're not changing the lens, bro. You're not changing the focal length. No. You still have the same lens. Like, oh man, I'm too old school to allow you to say things like that here. Sony shooter here, Brian Ernst. This needed to be sub $2,000. This is like an upgrade to my 6400, but more than my FX3. Insane. Yeah, I mean, yeah, 100%. You kind of sound like you never used the R2 though, probably. I don't know, maybe you did, or maybe you weren't aware. Oh, is it gone? There it is. Maybe you weren't aware of this camera or never used it or could care less about it. Because I feel like a lot of people, like, yeah, like honestly, yeah. And I only say that because your comment is, it kind of feels like, but also I don't know you. So, but like, I'm just saying like, yeah, no, I agree. This is not a camera that I would buy. But the price is not what bothers me about this camera, because I knew coming from what the price of this thing was, which is its predecessor, right? I knew that this thing was insanely priced back when it came out in 2015, right? So we all read, like, people that know these cameras already knew that this camera was going to be stupidly priced. Like, that's a given. You just know, because the previous one, again, was sold for like $3,300 in 2015, and it never went down in price ever. And so it's like, yeah, again, that's like their weird flex thing. But yeah, you're not wrong. The downside is it's just an A7CR. Like, everything is recycled down to the fucking 14-year-old lens. Like, yeah, the only new thing on it is the screen. And for some reason, it doesn't tilt. It's such a shame, too, that we did not get a joystick on here. You're like, dude, everything is exactly the same. Everything is exactly the same. Like, all the issues that I had with it is exactly the same. And honestly, they made it even worse. For a guy like me, they made it worse because now the screen doesn't even tilt. It's like, what? This camera actually got worse for someone like me that wasn't bothered by the autofocus. And, you know, it's like nothing that I had a problem with got fixed. It's just like, that's a bummer, dude. That's what I mean. Like, who is it for then? It's for people that never used the second one, never used the R2. So they have no idea what they're coming from, right? Because to me, this is not an upgrade. It just isn't. It's just not. It's just not. It's not an upgrade for what this camera should have been or could have been. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're crazy. Like, just buy an A7CR, you know, honestly. What does that say, dude? Hold on, I missed that. Join the Justin cult. Justin is mother. Justin is Faja. Show the IR of the LA River in the canal I got as a print from you. Oh, Dark Slide? That's you, dude? Dark Slide. He bought, I don't know if I have it in here, dude. Yeah, he bought a print from me. It might be in here, but you know what? I don't think it is, man. I got some crazy old Venice Beach photos with it. This is the M8 too. See? And that's an M8. That's a slow camera. And I still get those good shots. But I grew up skateboarding. I know when to press the shutter when it comes to skateboarding. Come on. No, dude, I don't have the IR one on here. Bummer, man. Let me try to find it. It might be like on my old website, which is still somehow in service, which means that I'm still paying for it. I have 2 stupid websites now. So this is my old website, and I think, nah, it's not even on here, dude. Oh, maybe it's in the street section. It might be in here. I only want to show it because he talked about it. Oh yeah, this is on the RX1R II. Crazy cropping going on. It might be in here. I don't know if it's in here. What did I do with those IR pictures? Oh, I have these shitty ones. I don't have the cool one. But yeah, this is some of the IR. This is like one of the very first IR photos ever that I took with the M8. This doesn't count. That's a bummer, dude. It's not on here. I have these shitty ones on here. See, that's why it's old. Dang it. Let me see if I can pull it up on the Instagram. Maybe. Where's my Instagram? Yeah, it'll definitely be on here somewhere. Maybe? That's a bummer. You'll have to, now I want to find it. It's no fair, dude. A lot of these are film. A lot of these were shot on film in my travels last summer. Where is it? Here's one of the best photos I ever took. Do you know how many exposures that is? That's an entire roll. That is an entire roll of Kodak Portra 400. I shot the whole roll on top of each other. That is one of my all-time favorite pictures, dude. That is probably about 38 exposures in one multi. Honestly, I love that photo. I want to blow it up and get it framed. And you know who that is? That's Mike Ferguson. He's pretty internet famous, by the way. Do you know all like the viral YouTubers that have that trend? It's been like going on for like 2 or 3 years where they're like, what's the trend, the YouTube trend where it's like, the security guard found me or whatever. He's always the security guard, like in every freaking video. Yeah, Mike Ferguson. Yeah, he's the bounty hunter. He's the bounty hunter, dude. So he's this guy. He's in all these viral videos. Well, that's my video, but all of these videos, there he is right there. Like these are all insanely viral. He's like in all of them. He's always the security guard. So I know him because he was in the feature film Shadow Marsh that I shot. It was like the first movie I shot on the Komodo. And so he was in it. That's how I met him. And I was like, dude, and he lived in Hollywood and his car is crazy. You can barely see it there, but he's got this old black car. It's like an old cop car. And it's all black and there's like a skull with lightning bolts on the hood. He's just a badass, dude. And he's all tatted up. And I was taking all these photos and it all came out in one. And I was like, I don't know. I kind of like it. Anyways, I got sidetracked there. I just had to show you guys that. Absolutely love that photo, dude. Where's the infrared? All right, we got to be coming up on it now. This is some of my favorite portraits. Speaking of the M8, it's one of those cameras where you're like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have got rid of it, dude. But you know what the problem was with it? But I love that portrait. That street portrait with the M8. You know what the problem with it though was? It was so loud. That's what sucked about it. It was too loud. Here it is, dude. Isn't it that one right there? No. It wasn't that one. It was this one. The one with if you look closely, you can see now guys, this is not full quality. Keep in mind, this is on Instagram, so it instantly got pixelated. Don't judge. But that was one person in a yellow raincoat right there. Yeah. So that was a wild photo. And that's the, just infrared. I put a, what filter did I put on the M8? So I had the M8 with the 40mm Summicron and then like an IR filter. I think like N39 or something, N39, N49. Yeah, it does crazy, doesn't it? And this is practically right out of camera because I suck at color grading, so I try not to mess with it too much. The only thing I really change is like the highs and lows, really, like exposure basically. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So there it is, dude. Yeah, thanks again, bro, because that was cool. He just hit me up. I was like, yo, I want to print to that. That was funny. Water and water reflections look so great in IR. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to do like a lot of trees. And here it's hard. So this is our river. This is the infamous LA River for people that don't know, and actually this is even more cooler because this is right next to the Betty Davis Park. So there's like another, Betty Davis. They have a park in Burbank. It's like kind of on the border of Burbank and Glendale. And they named it after Betty Davis. It's really just like a dog park kind of because there's not really anything there. But it like runs alongside this part of the river. I used to go there all the time and like fly my drone over there and stuff. Yeah, this is all the same location. Yeah, you see, I was trying to, like, this one's weird. That's not even really IR, right? Like some of them are too crazy. Like that one's super crazy. It's like, yeah, this is like a horrible, because it's so slow. You know, the shutter is so slow on it. And I thought I was going to be like doing street photography with it at the horse path. And it's like, dude, it's on like 1/15 of a shutter speed, you know, because the IR filter is so dark. I think the IR filter cuts like 6 stops of light or something. So you have to do it on a tripod and shit. And you know what's even funnier about this? I didn't have a tripod with me. I didn't even think about it on the, like, I was just like so stoked to go use it. I didn't even take a tripod. So when I took this photo, I had it sitting on a post, on one of these fence posts. It's literally sitting on the next post, the camera is. And then I held my breath and I used the timer. So I used the self timer, held my breath and just held it as good as I could, balancing it on the round pole. So funny, dude. All right, John 2000. Yes, brother, live in peace and make sure to support all your brothers and sisters in the industry. We just do not want it all to go away. 100%. Thanks again, John 2000. He's legend, bro. Thanks, guys. Yeah, thank you, April. Just discovered him about 2 weeks ago. I was researching the RX1R II. As soon as I saw this new camera, I had to have his take on it. Love that pic with cop chasing alcoholic. Yeah, that's one of my favorite photos that I took with that with the original one. Look, I get it. Look, I know. I don't want to dog it too bad. Anyone that's going to get the new one, you're going to be super stoked about it. You're going to be super excited about it. And you know, you should. You know, it's a new fun tool. And especially if you never pulled the trigger on the second one and you have the money for the new one, like I said, I guess it makes sense. That's the only reason it would make sense is if like you always wanted this camera. And I'm talking about the RX1R II. If you always wanted this camera and you just never got around to it for whatever reason, then it makes sense that when this comes out, of course you would buy this. Of course you would buy this. Because why wouldn't you? You would go, oh, the camera I always wanted. Now they made a newer one with their latest technology in it. Yeah, of course you would get it. I just think that for all of us that are coming from the second one, it's a large disappointment. It's basically like your dad brought home vanilla ice cream and he's never ever bought ice cream for you ever in your life. And then he brings you vanilla ice cream. So it's like, yeah, I guess it's cool. He doesn't ever buy me anything. But at the same time, it's like Walmart great value ice cream. It's hard to get excited about it, you know? You know, but hey, maybe I should be more grateful. Maybe I'm just a greedy son of a bitch, you know? Oh man, dude, that's hilarious. Anyways, yeah, it's still cheaper than any of the Q cameras and it will have much better autofocus. Yeah, 100%. Yes, dude, the autofocus of this camera is going to smoke. Look, the second one already smoked the Leica Q2. This one already smoked the Leica Q2. And this is the old one. You know what I mean? So now that you have this one with the newest, latest, and greatest, yeah, dude, it's going to blow the Leica Q3 out of the water. It's going to blow anything Leica has out of the water in terms of autofocus. You already know that. And yeah, that's why I say, yeah, if you've never had the R2, this makes complete sense. You're going to love it. You're going to have fun with it. And hopefully this lens doesn't start pissing you off because I will predict that it will. So hopefully just like always live in continuous autofocus. So it's nice that your battery is bigger now because now you can live in continuous autofocus and it won't eat your battery life so bad because you're going to be really leaning on that autofocus. I'm telling you right now, you're really going to be leaning into it because that lens is just, it's atrocious, bro. If you get one, get an extended warranty, go into it with eyes open. Ideally, the longest warranty you can get 5 years or more. Yeah, it's like an Apple thing, right? And then as soon as your warranty expires, they start sending updates where it destroys your tech. At least Sony doesn't do that, you know. But sometimes they might. If you download the newest firmware, it could be the wrong idea to go. Not always though. Not usually with their cameras. And it's considerably smaller than a Q. Yeah, 100%. It's way smaller than a Q. It's way smaller than, it's practically the same size. Hell, it's lighter. It's lighter than the R2. It's lighter than the R2. That is crazy to me. But yeah, it's a super tiny, but at the same time, like, hold on. I don't want you to get, I don't want you to start thinking that it's this tiny, like a true Sony pocket camera, right? This is the pocketable A9 here, by the way. But yeah, like so, I mean, this you can literally put in your pocket, you know? you know, it's not going to be, it's not a true pocketable thing unless it's wintertime. And hey, if it is wintertime, here's another note, guys. Do we know if this one got weather sealed? Because that was another huge issue I had with the R2, is the R2 was not weather sealed. And I don't recall reading anything in here that this one is weather sealed now. And boy, that's a big disappointment. If this thing is not weather sealed, oof, $5,100 for a non-weather sealed fixed lens camera? Oof, that's scary, guys. That's scary to me. Yeah, I don't remember reading I don't see anything in here that talks about weather sealing. Let me know if you guys see it somewhere. I don't remember seeing anything in here about it, though. Robust magnesium alloy body offers a durable profile and incorporates dust and moisture seals to protect against harsh environments. Okay, so it has a robust magnesium alloy body offering a durable profile and incorporates dust and moisture seals to protect against harsh environments. Ugh. I guess they're trying. That doesn't sound very convincing, though. Incorporates dust and moisture seals. Doesn't sound super convincing, but it does sound like they're trying, right? I don't know, dude. I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about it. Oh, man. It's able to fit in a jacket pocket. The Q can't do that, right? Yeah, I know. The Q can't fit in a jacket pocket. This can, though. I know. You still need a fairly big jacket pocket because the lens is a pretty nice sized lens, all in all. All the shit I talk about it's even though it sucks manually focusing it, it still is a decent sized lens. I honestly think, it's still this size. Okay, so this is the 24 f2.8G lens. 100%. The RX1R lens is this size. This feels exactly the size of it. So, you know, now you put that on the body. So this is essentially the size of the RX1 body. Something like that. Right? It would be now we're getting crazy. It would be something like this, you know? If you can imagine that. I don't want to do that because that's going to make it too long. So really it would be like that. See what I mean? That's pretty big for a pocket. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean. It's still definitely smaller than a Q, 100%. But I would prefer, me personally, I would prefer the weight of a Leica Q over the weight of these things. Just knowing, you know, I lugged around this. I lugged around the R2 for a year. It was, I mean, I carried this camera with me everywhere. I live in the PNW. It's pocketable. What is the PNW? Pacific Northwest? Oh yeah, you were in Portland, weren't you, or somewhere crazy? Yeah, you guys have all the hipster pockets. You got your Bradford Young coats out there with your denim coats that look like you should be on a farm or something. No, I'm fucking around. I'm joking. Everybody chill out. And it's considerably, yeah, it's more because the lens breaks so easily. What do you mean? Oh, you're in Sydney, Australia. Nice. I cannot imagine it's weather sealed with that small size. It would overheat in minutes. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's already going to overheat regardless. It would be really interesting to see how long they get the 4K 10-bit video files going. You know, Petapixel's going to test that out. I think their video drops very soon. I cannot imagine. Okay. Yeah, there isn't any weather seal on the RX1R III. Yeah. Well, technically they have seals that are moisture resistant. Technically. Some sealing, not weather sealed. Exactly. Better than the original that has no seals, I guess. But I don't know if that's entirely true, though. I feel like the original one also had something similar to this, didn't it? I don't know if it would still be on here, but I feel like that's something that would still be, but maybe you're right. Nah, probably not. Probably not. Anyways, the one cool thing about this, again, I mean, even though the screen doesn't tilt, this thing has like the highest resolution of any screen on the market right now for Sony cameras. For Sony cameras, this thing has an insane high resolution. Like it's better than the A1 II, which is crazy. And so that's pretty cool. It's a bummer that doesn't tilt. So you do have that. But the kind of the nicest part about it is now you will have this Zeiss Sonar lens, which again, even though the build quality of the lens itself sucks, the actual like rendering of the lens is amazing. So now you'll have that with the newest, latest, and greatest Sony color science. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You know, that is cool. Because, you know, the old one, that was kind of another downside of the old one. You were on the old shitty color science, and it's pretty bad. I mean, we all know how it used to be. But now it'll be really nice. But still, I just feel like I could get something very comparable with this Loxia and the A7CR. That's just if you're on a budget. Like, if you really wanted this and you were like, no, I don't want to spend $5,100, but you'd still be spending a lot of money. It's still like, it's still going to be $4,000 if you do all this new. But you don't have to do it new. These A7CRs you can get for $2,000 right now. You can get an A7CR for $2,000 on the black market, and then you can get one of these for less than $1,000. You can get one of these for like $700, $700. Yeah, and you could do it, dude. I don't know. That's just kind of like the dog times way of looking at it, you know? A cricket fan. Wokie's in Portland. Oh no. I wish the lens was stabilized. Yeah, no stabilization in the sensor, nothing. You needed it in the sensor, really. I mean, like, or the lens, wherever you can get it. But yeah, there's zero stabilization anywhere. That's what I mean. If they would have thought about the lens, not only would have they been able to fix the horrible focusing issue, but then they could have put like a stabilization little knob on it. That would be wild. Maybe they wouldn't have been able to do that, but that would have been cool, right? Like a little click, like they used to do in the old days, like your iOS click, and then your lens would be stabilized, and then we would know, like, oh wow, they would totally redesign the lens. That'd be exciting, you know? But they didn't do that because I don't think they do have a deal with Zeiss anymore. I think they're just like recycling these old lenses. I mean, they already bought these old lenses, right? They've had them since 2012, you know? So it's like, they're kind of like, their hands are tied, you know? Just slap it on a new body. New body and new sensor. I should clarify that. Petapixel has their live stream up. Oh, are they live streaming too right now? Oh no, I thought they live streamed earlier today. The lens autofocus breaks if it's knocked around and it sucks in dust. So my comment was about, sorry. I wish it has integrated flash. It's cool for some artsy shots. Yeah, and they took that away from the R2 even. It used to have a flash on it. They basically swapped the flash for the EVF, which is weird because on the pocket camera, you still have both. You still have the pop-up flash and the EVF with the little RX100s. I've had this camera for quite a while now too. Maybe my 1-year review of this is coming up in a couple months. Look out for that. But my initial review of this camera has done really well. It's got like 115,000 views. You can check that out on my channel too if you want to know about the RX100 Mark VII. Crazy addictive camera. This camera is crazy addictive. And what's cool about it is, I mean, you can literally just walk in anywhere with this. A lot of people use it to take into concerts because no one cares, you know? The flash on the original model is so nice. You can sync at any speed. Yeah, because it's the leaf shutter. I show that in my 1-month review of this camera. Yeah, shooting flash at like 1/2000th of a second is just amazing. I wonder if I have those photos anywhere. Oh, it's actually my avatar. Like my photo, I literally handed the RX1R II to a buddy of mine. So this avatar right there, we both went out. We both took the same photo of each other. So what I did is, and this is like bright noonday sun, and I showed in my 1-month review of the RX1R II, and I took a high-ass flash though, very powerful. It was the Godox AD200, that 200-watt flash, and I put it inside of an aperture dome. So the little aperture mini dome, the Godox flash is inside of that, and I put a handle on it, on the flash, right? And I'm showing Tristan. It was Tristan that took it because I took his photo and he took mine. And I showed him how to hold it like up and over, right? Because you can see there's a little bit of shape there, even though it's super bright. And yeah, that's 1/2000th on the RX1R II with the Godox AD200 like wireless flash. Yeah, that's the best part about all of those cameras. The best part about all of the fixed lens cameras is the crazy, insane high flash sync speed because of the leaf shutter. But yeah, you can get that on any of them. You get that on the original Leica Q, any of the RX1s, all of them. They all have leaf shutter. Even the X100s have leaf shutters. It's kind of the best parts about them, honestly. They were talking about this camera. I know. I watched it. I watched their segment on it. And they brought up some good points, but yeah, I'm not the only one that's disappointed about it, you know? I'm not the only one disappointed, but also like it makes sense why people would be pumped. You know, you're going to be pumped about it if you never used the other ones. The lenses were made by Cosina with a Zeiss design. Is that true? This lens? Are you talking about this lens? I don't know about that. Canon G1X Mark III APS-C with a zoom lens. Yeah, now see, that's even cooler. That's an APS-C sensor, so that's even bigger than the RX100s. Yeah, a lot of people talk about that camera. Tiba Jefferson talks about that camera all the time. And the Hot Shoe EVF. Oh yeah, you could do that with the original. That way you could have flash and then use the little optical viewfinder. Even the little pop-up flash in the original does a good job because of the shutter speed. That's crazy. I never thought about that. But yeah, even out of the little pocket flash, you can get it super fast synced. Yeah, so I guess that's it, guys. That's what we'll wrap it up. Damn, almost another 2-hour one. And I know I missed a lot on there. I missed a lot of comments, but sometimes they get all muddled in and I can't catch up. But yeah, I mean, you know, that's the tilde right there. Is it worth it? I mean, if you've always had your eyes on the R2, yep. I guess so. I guess it would be worth it because then it's like, why would you buy this when you could just get this? But again, don't feel like you have to buy this if you don't have $5,100 because the best option is the 7CR with either the Loxia or if you need autofocus, the Sigma Contemporary. That's what I would do, folks. That's what I would do. Funniest accessory for the RX1 is the OVF, which is just a piece of glass for hundreds of dollars. Yeah, well, people did it, you know, because that's big in the Leica world too. You know, it's big to do in like other circles, but it is kind of silly to do that on a digital camera. But yeah, I didn't know it was that much money, but it does make sense. A lot of those optical viewfinders are stupid expensive. 100% it's on an old Sony website about their Zeiss partnership. Really? Cosina made this lens? I guess so. I mean, Cosina did a lot of nice stuff. Wow, that's nuts, though. I never knew that. Anyways, that's where we're going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for stopping in. Do me a favor, hit that like button on your way out. You know it'll help people find it. All right, we got to